Locate each image point. Number 5 says point Z is in quadrant 2. After reflection across the y-axis, the image is in quadrant blank. So before I can figure that out, I have to have an understanding of where the quadrants are. So right here where you have room, I'm going to draw the x-axis. I'm going to draw the y-axis. I'm going to label where is quadrant 1, 2, 3, 4. So quadrant 1 is going to be where everything is positive. So that's going to be over here. Label yours, Q1. And then to name the rest of them, you're just going to go around counterclockwise. So that goes this direction. So quadrant 2, quadrant 3, and then quadrant 4. I'm using Roman numerals, so to do a 4, instead of doing like 4 lines, I'm going to do it IV, because y'all know V is 5, so I'm just taking 1 away from the 5 to get my 4. So quadrant 1, 2, 3, 4. They told me on number 5 that point Z is located in quadrant 2. So anywhere in quadrant 2, I want you to put point Z. It said that it was going to reflect over the y-axis, and the image point is in quadrant 1, because I'm going to jump this way to get Z prime. So on number 5, I'm going to go and answer quadrant 1. Number 6, point K is on the positive part of the x-axis. After reflection over the y-axis, the image is on the blank part of the x-axis. Okay, so point K is on the positive part of the x-axis. If this is my origin, I know that if I move to the right, I'll be on the positive part of the x-axis. So anywhere over here, basically in between quadrant 1 and quadrant 4, I'm going to put point K. And so that it was going to be reflected over the y-axis. So we'll jump it this way, try to make it an equal distance from that line of reflection. K prime. The image is on the blank part of the x-axis. So what type of numbers would be back here? If you said negative, you got it right. Number 7, point J is on the negative part of the y. So if here's my origin, to get to the negative numbers on this y-axis, I have to go down. So I'm going to put it down here. They called it point J. Okay, so J is on the negative part of the y-axis. After reflection over the x, so I'm going to jump up here, it will be on the blank part of the y. So if I jumped it up here, equal distance, J prime would be on the positive part of the y-axis. So whenever they ask you questions like this, they may not give you a graph, but somewhere you'll have a graph that you can go look at, or you can just draw your own like we did. Number 8, consider triangle ABC with vertices at A, B, C. First graph triangle A prime, B prime, C prime, the reflection of triangle ABC across the y-axis. Let me highlight that. And that was what I'm going to do first. Then graph triangle A double prime, B double prime, C double prime, the reflection of triangle ABC across the x-axis. Describe how the image triangles are like the original triangle and how they are different. Okay. So they said first triangle ABC prime is going across the y-axis. I'm going to flip that original over the vertical axis. So remember, whenever you're on your practice problems and you're ready to reflect, you start at the point and you see how far is it from the line of reflection. So I'm going to count 1, 2. I'm going that many on the other side. I label it as A prime. For B, I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Going that many on the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to label B prime. For C, it is 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I label C prime. Remember, it's better to label them as you move them, so that way you just don't end up with a bunch of points. You don't know which one's which. I make sure I do draw it so I can look and see if it looks right. I started with a triangle. I still have a triangle, so I'm on the right path. Okay, next. This is a part that kids generally mess up because they didn't slow down when they read it. It says, then graph the double prime triangle, the reflection of the original triangle ABC across the x-axis. What I've seen kids do every year on this is they wanted to take the one that they just did and then take it over the x-axis, but that's not what the problem wants. They said to take the original triangle ABC and reflect it over the x-axis. So again, I'm going to start on the original point A. I'm going to count how far is it from that line of reflection. Go that many on the other side. Make sure that you do label it now with double prime marks as you move it. Oops. Okay, so we reflected the original over the y first, and then the original over the x-axis last. Describe how the image triangles are like the original and how they are different. So if I had to talk about how they are like triangle ABC, I would say that they are the same shape and they are the same size, so they are congruent. The image triangles are congruent to the original. Now they want me to talk about how it is different. So even though they are the same size and the same shape, they do have something different about them. On that first page where it had the little box down here at the bottom, we said same size, same shape, so yes, that means they're congruent. But we said that they did not have the same orientation, so that means like how it's positioned, exactly how it's sitting. Because before, the bottom of it slanted down this way, AB. Now it doesn't slant down that same way anymore, and this doesn't even have AB on the bottom. So even though that they did have something in common, they were congruent, I'm going to say, but the orientation is different.